Welcome you this morning to the Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, July the 8th, 2014. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Anyone sign up for open forum?
I can check, sir.
All right. Are any concerns with the consent agenda?
No concerns, Judge.
Move for approval of consent agenda?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. As I understand it, we're going to be tabling item 4A,
No action.
or item 4, no
No action.
on item 4 at this time. Let's move on to item 5.
Consideration approval of interlocal cooperative agreement between Hidalgo County and Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 as it relates to the sale of LJ Pond's real property of Hidalgo County Drainage District and approval of closing documents. This is part of the asset acquisition between the Drainage District and, in this particular case, Precinct Number 2. I believe legal counsel is handling all of those documentation.
The only correction is there will be no approval of closing documents. It's just the approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement.
Okay. So, yes, sir.
So what should the action item?
Basically, the action item is just the approval of the interlocal agreement as per legal counsel.
We're going to defer the issue of closing documents till next week or some other day.
It's up to legal, sir.
Okay,
That's it?
so moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6A, 2013 bond series, request approval of notice to suspend work order with Texas Cordia Construction LLC as it relates to construction contract number HCDD1 14-004-0211, Precinct 4, Edinburgh Drain Stub Out to the South Main Drain Canal Control Structure, Drainage Improvements. Lead time for the manufacturer slide the gate. Resumption of work is effective August 29, 2014. It's taking almost 6 weeks to get some of these gates manufactured. So what we're doing is suspending time so it won't go against contractor until the control structure gates come in. We're going to have similar action also on some of these pipes and box culverts that basically the manufacturer will not begin manufacturing until a PO is issued. And that's taken, again, about 60 to 90 days. So we're going to be seeing a lot of this type of suspension coming up on a lot of these projects.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'd be requesting approval of work authorization number 4 with R. Gutierrez Engineering Corp. in the amount of $96,853 as it relates to engineering service, preliminary project planning and development, design for the development of plans and specifications, and estimate for the proposed new drainage that will provide drainage relief to an area within the city of Hidalgo lying between Coma Drive and Dick Road and between 10th Street and 23rd Street. This project is in Precinct Number 2. It's going to be a cooperative project as we move forward for the actual construction, which will be with the Hidalgo County RMA, and it'll be also with the TxDOT project on Dicker Road.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, requesting approval to accept bids and approval to award construction contract to lowest bidder meeting all specification requirements for RFB number HCDD1 14-008-0319, Precinct 2 Alamo Expressway Drain to Texas Concordia LLC in the amount of $920,573.
Approval?
Second.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Just for the record, I wanted to read that we received four bids on the project, and the bids range between the low bid of $920,573 to a high bid of $1,159,514. These projects are coming in probably about $100 and some odd thousand dollars above estimates already because the construction volume is starting to take place out there. Item D, request approval of work authorization number 15 was Teddy Infrastructure Group, Inc. in the amount of $200,000 as it relates to preliminary engineering report, preliminary field surveying services, and Phase 1 environmental and public involvement services, Precinct 1, District 23. This is a project that's been in the works for several years already in Commissioner Cuellar's precinct. It's going to be one of the first interlocals between Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 and Cameron County themselves. This particular drain ditch is being built. Part of it was TxDOT money for the expressway drainage improvements they did south. And also the majority of the watershed is coming in from Hidalgo County going into Cameron County. So we will begin the process of getting interlocals developed with the lead of Commissioner Cuellar and present the interlocals to this board once all of the I's are dotted and legal's reviewed it and Cameron County Commissioners Court has approved it. But this is the beginning of the first interlocal between the district and Cameron County.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We have no item in closed session this time unless the board wishes to entertain one.
All right, if there's no need to proceed to executive session, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. It is now 9:13. We have to wait until 9:30 to start our County Commissioners Court meeting. Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to this meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, July the 8th, 2014. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the blessings that you give us. Help us to be more appreciative of all the blessings that you give us. But we need your help now more than ever because we are worried and we don't like to be worried. We'd rather just know that we can trust in you. And that's ultimately what we will do, is trust in you. We need your guidance. We need your wisdom as we go forward and hope for the best for our future. And we ask all of this in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Any concerns with the consent agenda?
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Under open forum, first presenter is Jim Barnes.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. It is another beautiful day in paradise. I am Jim Barnes,
Morning.
an owl and president of the McAllen Hidalgo County Tea Party. I have attended many of the meetings, hearings, public meetings on the large number of citizens from Central America that are crossing the border into the United States. Although I have opinions on the causes and the necessary corrections in policy, my concern today is the health and well-being of American citizens, including Border Patrol, and the strain being placed on our health systems, schools, and citizen support systems in Hidalgo County, Texas, and the United States. At the public meeting and press conference at McAllen Chamber of Commerce, Hidalgo County Director of Health and Human Services reported only 5 cases of chickenpox and 1 possible TB case had been observed. He also told us that he does 40 to 80 medical evaluations a day out of approximately 1,000 people per day coming over. I don't think that's a very significant sample size. I sincerely hope other evaluations were taking place. But if that sampling size is done, things can be missed, and they were. It has been reported that swine flu was found at Lackland Air Force Base in that group that passed through here. What else was missed? The Border Patrol Field Agent Union published a request early in this surge to protect the field agents and their members. Does anyone know if these requests were implemented? An agent escorting the group to California has scabies. Was it a sloppy protection on his part or a situation out of control? Have any other agents contracted the disease and taken it home to his family, neighbors, and friends? How would we know? There's a gag order. They can't talk about anything. When the medical staff working with the children at Lackland is threatened with arrest for talking about medical conditions at the base, we must ask, why the gag order? When the security company issuing the gag order is nicknamed the Brown Shirts, might explain the lack of transparency. Are they expecting some outbreak, or has it already occurred? Are the drop-off points around the United States as prepared as Lackland? Fort Sill in Oklahoma should be prepared, but why is an Oklahoma representative of the people denied admittance to review the facility? The lack of transparency is just not a local or Texas issue. It appears to be broader based. Is it a federal gag order? McAllen and Hidalgo are doing the best they can with the resources they have. They're even keeping a good game face through all the meetings and questions by representatives and reporters. Judge, your presentation last Thursday did much to set everyone's mind at ease. But don't be bashful. The Texas National Guard annually conducts Operation Lone Star in the Valley. They are well equipped to assist in these medical crises. We need to ask for them. Texas and the nation should be able to depend on Hidalgo County to prevent a possible national contagion. Thank you.
Next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. In Hidalgo County, a petition for divorce required only that the judge award a fair division of our community property between Joe and me, the owners, and finalize a divorce. The judge decided our debt-free community property was excess land with no value and could not be divided. In other words, concerning our community property, he could do nothing. Our community property, still owned equally by Joe and me, was set aside by and left in the court. The appellate court's opinion, cause number 139681994CV, affirmed the lower court's ruling that gave no value, division, or return of our land to us. A loan for 41% of 15 years of the conjectured value of future rent was acquired, and the debt was awarded to me for a divorce settlement, along with being court-ordered off of my community property by police-enforced false imprisonment. Cause number CCD 1473E states the court sold 2 parcels of our land to the City of Mission for $280,000. Who determined our land did have value, could be divided, and who appraised our community property? It's taxpayers' money. Who got the money? Cause number CCD 1473E also states the court sold the land through the Billman Real Estate LTD and that the court's cooperation retained our mineral rights. The community property of Joe and me is not an asset of any corporation. It is a mom and pop ownership of private property. Before Joe's death during the divorce process, the court could have sold our community property at public auction to the highest bidder, but the money would have had to be divided between and given to Joe and me. When Joe died, existing law requires the case must be dismissed. The court has no authority to deal exclusively with City of Mission or anybody else for the sale of our community property and mineral rights. Because of Joe's death, the case is dismissed, which returns our intact community property to Joe's 3 heirs and me. After Joe's death, I attended every Mission City Commissioners and Planning and Zoning meeting for about 2 years. During this period of time, I had a title policy waved at me by people as if it were a deed to our land. A title policy is not a title of ownership of land. It is an insurance policy that covers the sale of land. As a general rule, the seller or owner provides the title policy. Did the 275th District Court provide this title policy? Because the owners, Joe and I, did not. The title policy owned by the city has absolutely nothing to do with us. Their title policy is between the court, the City of Mission, and the title company. The City of Mission is not only trespassing on our community property, they are building on it. In Texas, if someone builds on land they do not own, they can remove their buildings. If the buildings are not removed, the buildings belong to the person or persons who own the land, and that would be the estate of Joe Billman and me. I have a purpose for being here each week. My purpose is that the criminal police-enforced false imprisonment of me be ended. I want and am entitled to the freedom and liberty granted by the Constitution that every person in this room has, except me.
You have 30 seconds,
because
ma'am.
I was sued for divorce in Hidalgo County, where compliance with state law and the Constitution is not their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Next presenter is Fern McClarity.
Okay, I'm here today asking for the renewal emphasis on honesty from our county officials. I attended a meeting at McAllen Chamber of Commerce concerning the children and families that are crossing our borders. Our county judge assured the audience that there was no health issues and that there was not costing the county any money. Several days later, I saw in the newspaper article that the county and the city of McAllen were requesting $68,000 from federal agencies as a reimbursement for the expenditures. Also, the judge and the health department staff assured us that there was no serious health issues among those that were transported to other parts of our nation. The care providers at Lackland Military Base in San Antonio gives us a different picture of the health conditions of the children and families, like measles, chickenpox, strep throat, active scabies, the flu, lice that are crawling down the faces of the children, TB, just to name a few. Transporting these individuals to locations across the nation without a medical evaluation is not a good idea. At the meeting before the Homeland Security Congressional meeting, where Governor Perry and officials from the Border Patrol, State Police, County Sheriff all expressed concerns about this immigration issue, there was only one dissenter. Our county judge said there's no security or health problems. Immigrant children and families are coming across the border and surrendering to the Border Patrol officers, he said. There's need to be more honesty in our discussion if we are to believe our county officials. We do not trust you because you are not acting in the best interest of the people. You are acting in your best interest. Now, in reference to the lack of trust, each of you has made several statements concerning the courthouse in an effort to push this project along. The one that seems most outrageous is that it will not cost or increase our taxes. You need to understand that I feel there is no need for a new courthouse. The one we have needs to be used more efficiently, 9 to 5 every day of the week. We need more officers in rural areas and greater use of technology. But you seem to ignore the fact that for the last 6 years, 30% of the property owners could not pay their taxes on time, and that 35% of the population live in an income that is below the poverty level. The people of Hidalgo County recently passed a drainage bond issue in the amount of $185 million. If you proceed with this project, that means the tax burden of the poorest county in Texas will have doubled in 2 years. $185 million for drainage, $187 million for courthouse, $372 million total. For obvious reasons, I have chosen to assume that the courthouse will cost $187 million. But the consultants have forgotten to add a very important item to the total cost, the financial cost. Financing it at an interest rate of 4% for 30 years. The cost to finance the project would be $134 million. This will bring the total to $321 million. Also, this does not have what the cost of the furniture or more employees will cost for that 10-story hotel building for the next 30 years. The most important fact is that this project will mean an increase of $2,000 on a $60,000 home. This is just for the courthouse project. And talking about the illegals that are coming across, we also have a lot that are coming from China, and God only knows where else. Our safety in this country is at risk right now, and y'all are doing nothing. Y'all just think it's okay. Open our arms and bring them all in. Well, there's some out there that want to kill us. They don't like our country. Thank you.
Next presenter is John David Franz.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. In 2003, Purdue Brandon asked me to team up with them to build a delinquent tax collection business in South Texas. For 4 years, we made presentation after presentation without success. In 2007, we got our first contract, Hidalgo County, and we set out to prove that we were the best delinquent tax collection team in South Texas. We started from scratch. We believed we could assemble a team to provide superior delinquent tax collection services. From day one, I was involved in selecting the team. My wife and I were involved in hiring and team placement, including attorneys. For about 7 years, Purdue shared information with me on collections and welcomed my participation in management. I made recommendations designed to increase collections, to boost employee morale, and office performance. Successful teams are built on a strong foundation of trust. We built a strong team that shared a common vision and a commitment to provide outstanding services. Over the last year and a half, cracks in our foundation began to appear. We found ourselves having to address a number of employee concerns, including inappropriate attorney conduct, alcohol abuse, favoritism, inadequate training, and ineffective management. The last year has been especially tough. The cracks widened in April of 2013 when we disagreed on how to handle embarrassing and offensive incidents involving one of our team members. and local management's response to the offensive conduct. Instead of using incidents as learning experiences to avoid repetition, my partner's response was to create a wall between our firms and to limit communication to my firm, to limit the information flow. Biweekly meetings to discuss operations, collections, and strategy were stopped by Purdue. Communication was limited, and employees were instructed not to share information with my office unless a Purdue attorney consented. Employees were threatened if they disclosed information to me. Interaction between our firms dwindled. You can't ignore these kinds of issues because they do impact performance. I tried to take the wall down over the last 9 months and was unsuccessful. Ultimately, it became clear that we had different visions in terms of management. Over the last year, I watched collections trend downward, and Purdue didn't seem to have an answer. It has been very difficult to turn away from a business that my wife and I helped build over the last 10 years. The business had my name on it. It's been extremely difficult to walk away. But our experience over the last year and a half convinced us that our visions were just too far apart in terms of how we should handle our local office. As you know, I made a decision to separate in February of this year, and that separation resulted in a filing of a lawsuit. I'm happy to announce to you today that the lawsuit has been settled. I had asked to be on the agenda so that I could explain the settlement terms to you and explain how the county's tax collections will be handled. I was told, however, and I agree with the county attorney's position on this, I was told that Attorney Rex Leach, who is Hidalgo County's attorney, would be the appropriate person to provide you with the information on this case and its resolution. I believe he will be sharing information with you later.
Steve, what does this presentation do to that executive session?
Executive session still stand.
Yeah, so I think you're going to get the details in executive session, and I agree with that. The purpose of my talk here today is to thank you for having entrusted me with a part of the delinquent tax collection over the last close to 8 years. I also want to thank Hidalgo County staff, apart from the commissioners. Valdeguerra has been most helpful. Steve Crane's been very involved. Paul Villarreal at the tax office and his staff have been great to work with, as has been Mr. Ufracio in the auditor's office. So it's painful to be here and announcing to you that I will no longer be participating in tax collection for Hidalgo County, but I wanted to give you my sincere thanks for having allowed me to be a part of this for the last 8 years. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Next presenter is Priscilla Alvarez.
Good morning. I am Priscilla Alvarez, the Director of Program Services at VIDA, the Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement. For several years now, Hidalgo County has been a huge supporter of VIDA's mission to train low-income Valley residents as they try to get the skills and the education that they need to fill the good-paying jobs that we know exist here in the Valley. We are here to respectfully ask that you move forward with continued funding for VIDA so that we can continue to help the 54 active students from Hidalgo County that are in their demand occupation training programs. Now more than ever, we feel it is so important to invest in Hidalgo County residents so that they get that training needed to fill those important jobs, especially with all of the allied health jobs that are being created here in Hidalgo County. It is our hope that you will put us on your next agenda to approve continued funding. I wanted to share just a few specifics of what we've been able to do with your funding. Since the inception of your first investment in Hidalgo County residents, our graduates are coming out and graduating from their different programs with an average wage of $44,958.24. These are low-income Hidalgo County residents that are either on food stamps or TANF, who are getting some type of government assistance, who are earning $8.50 an hour or less, or who are unemployed with family responsibilities. We are assisting this population to become hardworking Hidalgo County residents. 72% of the people that we serve are between the ages of 25 and 50. 74% are female. 62% are below poverty level. 55% are single parents. These are, and with 3 dependents or more in the household. So as of today, we have graduated, well, as of July the 8th, we have graduated 8 Hidalgo County residents, and that is from April the 12th, as of April the 12th. We have 5 who are pending their state exams, who are waiting to take their state board exam so that they can start working. And we have 54 active students who are in school right now, hoping that we'll be able to continue funding helping them with their funding. So we respectfully ask that you will consider putting us on your next agenda so that we can continue to serve this population. Thank you.
Next presenter is Bobby Villarreal.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Bobby Villarreal with the County Judge's Office. I just want to give you an update on some of the events that have occurred in the last few weeks with the Central American issue, the influx coming in, just to give you an update. And again, y'all can call our office or emergency management to get any more details.
Pick up that mic a little bit.
To get any more details, you can call emergency management at our office if you so desire, if you have any more questions. But as of this point, from emergency management, our health department, and our sheriff's department, right, as of this point, they have not seen any uptick in local crime or local health issues with the issue that's going on. At this point, also, there is the funding thresholds that have not been met to declare any emergency, to look for funding. However, we have spoken to that congressional committee that did come down, Judge Garcia did, to see if there's any kind of leeway to start looking at getting reimbursed locally for what McAllen and Hidalgo County have spent. And as you know, the judge did testify before the congressional committee last week, and I think you've seen a lot of that. But the committee did come down. They did visit the CBP facility, the Border Patrol facility where they house the children and the families, so they could get a firsthand look. We did meet with them prior to that, and they're understanding the local issues a little bit better. It was congressmen from all over the country, Republicans and Democrats alike. And also, in reference to health issues, there are 2 events or 2 locations that things occur. Just to clarify, the Border Patrol has their own contracts within their own facilities for healthcare providers that do screen the people coming in. So, and I think just to clarify, the family units are the ones that have been going, the mother and child or the father and child are the ones going to the Sacred Heart. Now there we have local providers that have been given of their time. The health department is there as well, emergency management, monitoring situation, and they do screen people there who complain of illnesses, and they do that there. But just to clarify the differences between what goes on at Border Patrol and what goes on at the church. So at the Border Patrol, they screen them there at the McAllen facility, and then of course all those folks are dispersed throughout the country at different facilities. But we just want to give you an update, and if you all have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
All right, next item. Well, at this time, I've been requested by Mr. Guerra to proceed to executive session, so we're going to take up executive session at this time, take a little bit out of order. We need to address some scheduling conflicts that several of the parties involved have. So this time we would move on to item number 17 and request that pursuant to 551-071 and 072 that I need a motion to proceed to executive session.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. It's 9:58.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Item number 18, open session.
Yes, thank you, Judge Commissioners. 18A, there is no action, real estate acquisition. 18B, pending potential, there is no action. 18C, there is no action to be taken at this time, which would be civil number 213 CV 00193 VC et al. Versus Perry et al. 18D, C50 90-12-E Mertala Lopez versus Juan Vasquez and Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioners, I'd like for the court to entertain a motion to accept the settlement and compromise agreement by Travelers Insurance Company on behalf of Hidalgo County settling this case.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 18E, C-5019-14-J, John David Franz versus County of Hidalgo versus Purdue Brandon Fielder, Collins and Mott LLP. Judge Commissioners, I'd like the court to entertain a motion authorizing Mr. Rex Leach on behalf of Hidalgo County to sign the Rule 11 agreement.
We need action?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 18F, claim of Progressive Direct Insurance Company. Judge Commissioners, I would like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $22,423.91 for property damage. Thank you.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And Judge Commissioners,
Mr. Gutierrez is here. Maybe he can tell us who your contact person is going to be now.
yes,
Mr. Guerra used to contact Mr. Franz. He's no longer involved pursuant to that agreement. Who does he contact now?
That would be me, Judge.
Okay.
Commissioners.
Okay.
Good morning.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you, sir.
Judge, we would,
Okay, let's now move on to another item out of order, item 14A. Out of Precinct 4.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Justice Unifor Commissioner Joseph Palacios. Item 14A is a resolution in support of a constitutional amendment for increased state funding for transportation. The third legislative session, or the special session, Governor Perry called him back to try and move for state funding. There's a $5 billion deficit a year for TxDOT, and they're trying to fill that gap in a way. Somebody came up with the idea of the rainy day fund to try and tap into that. Currently, right now, that's all oil and gas money that's coming into the state. Not all of it is going to be tapped into. They're looking at about $1.2 to $1.4 billion a year to try and close that gap. I think TxDOT they've been told to try and come up with $100,000 savings within the department also. We were approached by some other local officials regarding this proposition, the support for this proposition. I've been in contact with MPO. They're in full support. Our local state reps were in full support. Representative Martinez was going to speak on it, but he had a prior engagement. It's a great proposition that will be up to the voters in the November election. It is set to sunset in 2025 unless the legislature decides to continue the funding. But if you have any questions regarding this proposition, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, moving back to item 6.
Good morning, Judge Bobby Villarreal with the County Judge's Office. We're going to take no action on 6A. We'll bring that back next week. And on item 6B, consideration possible action on the Second Amendment to the interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County, the City of Alton, and the Alton Tourists. Alton needed the way the agreement was written, they needed to come back to us to get permission to go out for a bond. Everything's been approved on their side, and legal's approved it on our side. So I would ask for approval.
Move for approval.
Again.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Michael Leo, County Judge's Office. 6C, number 1 is acknowledgement of receipt of certificate of recognition presented to the County of Hidalgo by the Texas Land Office for extraordinary efforts related to Disaster Recovery Program Phase 1. Just a little background, on June 23rd, Ms. Cristina Loera, on behalf of Land Commissioner Jerry Patterson from the General Land Office, visited our offices to commend and recognize Hidalgo County for their efforts in completion of the Disaster Recovery Program Round 1. The program was a result of efforts to recover from this devastation received from Hurricane Dolly. The program spanned from 2009 to 2014 and assisted over 34 families with over 60 beneficiaries. Homes were rebuilt and allowed residents to regain their lives. At this time, we would like to share this acknowledgement with the court and move on to item 2. Item 2 is recognition of the Hidalgo County Urban County Program for their efforts in administering this program. With the court's permission, we would like to call upon and acknowledge Ms. Yana Cerda from the Hidalgo County Urban Program and her staff who administered the program on behalf of Hidalgo County. So, I'm going to take this up so we can share it with the members of the court.
Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, Ms. Cerna.
Good morning. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my staff that was responsible for the expenditure of this money. We did assist 34 families that received new housing because of the disaster recovery funds that we received. Additionally, this phase 1 consisted of the street improvement work in Precinct 2. It included the Delta outfall in Precinct 1, as well as the Progreso drainage improvements, the Minnesota drain in Precinct 2. This is funding that was set aside for the city of San Juan that Commissioner Palacios partnered with the city of San Juan and did the Minnesota drain. So I would like at this time to recognize my staff. First of all, these are the people that actually did the work with the state. First of all, I'd like to call upon Tony Barco. Tony, could you come forward? Brandy Salinas, one of the coordinators with direct contact to the state. Amanda Flores, Amanda Agüeros. And on the housing side, I'd like to recognize Ms. Irene Montoya. She is the actual person that did the interviews, qualified the families, did the closings, and had everything to do with housing. So I'd like to recognize my staff.
Congratulations to all of you.
We're still working on phase 2.1 and 2.2, so as soon as that's over and done with, hopefully we'll get recognized for that expenditure after December 2015. Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
I think they want a picture, and everybody needs to line up here.
Okay, thank you. Let's go over here. So, Steph.
All right, item number 7, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 7A, 1 and 2, there is no action at this time. Item 7B, we do have a presentation. I'll ask Mr. Palacios to come to the podium from Prodigy. He will be giving an update to the court on our renovations to the former administration buildings, first and second floor.
Good morning, Judge, County Commissioners. July 7th, 2014, First Hidalgo County Commissioners Court renovations, presentation on the first and second floors. On the first floor, we have the before and after, as I presented the previous weeks on the erection of the metal studs. Today, we present to you that what we call the sheetrock, or also known as the drywall, that is what you see on the first and second floors at various areas. So work is moving very steadily and pretty aggressive. On the first floor, as you can see, there was a tremendous amount of work that was being done and performed, insulation, ductwork, electrical, ongoing. And as you can see, the floors have been leveled, as previously addressed, and the metal studs are going up with the electrical being in place. As we all know that in a demolition project, every project has its issues. We are being faced with some challenges that the contractor is beginning to contend with, as well as the owner. We have issues that we will address, like the ADA, that railing, and foundation cracks that the contractor is addressing as we go. The rains that we had very recently were basically a blessing to the project. We were able to identify several of the existing roof leaks, but at the same time, we were able to identify other areas, for example, the roof drains. The illusion was that the leaks were coming from the roof. However, closer observation and review, we find items or challenges like the roof leaders. This type of a roof leader no longer is applied in standard construction. It's a metal existing roof leader with threads. As we all know, that galvanized pipe and threads do not go hand in hand with water. We will propose this to the architect for direction, and with your blessing, move forward and have the contractor replace issues like this. On the second floor, as you can see, the contractor has a pretty clean workspace, and moving forward, that's a progression. So we are moving pretty aggressively with the drywall on the second floor interior walls. All the materials as far as lighting are in place, and he has them on site, and that is the next step in moving forward. On the second floor as well, the mechanical equipment is ongoing. That is a typical air handling chill water system. What's important to note here on this slide is that starting July the 11th, 2014 through Sunday, July the 13th, we will be shutting down the system to connect chill water isolation valves. That means that the upper floors, they will not have any air conditioning. This is being coordinated with the executive office, with the maintenance operations, Mr. Flores' office, and with Roy with the district attorney's office. So all parties who need to be involved are involved, so that we don't have any hiccups and we have the air conditioning up and running when staff returns to work. As we all know, the previous odors that we had, the sanitary sewer back in the day, this is just a overview of the plumbing, that we are looking at the plumbing connections, making sure that all of them are according to plans and specs. And the contractor's doing a very good job of doing that, so we don't go back to what we had several years ago. The roof work is ongoing in progress. We are addressing some minor conflicts between the Tremco Roofing on behalf of the county, as well as the general contractor. In speaking with all involved parties, we will have a solution as to what the objectives are, who's going to be doing what, and where. The dilemmas is that we have conflicting. The objective here is that we do not void the county's warranty. That is being held paramount, and we will hold their feet to the fire. So the item in question is on this particular slide is in the D1 area, and that is where the areas that we're addressing in regards to the roofing. On an overview, as every project, you have RFIs, change proposals, information going back and forth. It's an ongoing information process on a weekly basis, and the important thing is that we're addressing each and every one of them. Here we have a picture of the snapshot. It is in your portfolio. You can look at it on a slower pace. It has all the information on the financials. And this is important to the constituents, to your constituents, because it shows 100% transparency as we're going through this project. Lastly, we have the timeline. According, we're on application number 8, which is on your agenda for approval today. The construction project is approximately 60% of completion. We have approximately 41% to complete the project, and we are holding $1.5 million in the kitty. So if you look at that from an objective point of view, you know, at 40% and holding at $1.5 million in the kitty with retainage, I think we're doing pretty good. Contractors, staff is on site every day, and we're with ongoing assessments and identifying issues as they arise. In closing, we appreciate the continued support from the county commissioners with your understanding of the dilemmas that we have as they arise in any demolition project. On behalf of the Hidalgo County Commissioners, we offer no excuses, only solutions, and we hold paramount 100% transparency on this project, holding the progress of construction paramount, as well as the project financials. Are there any questions?
The ADA challenges, how are you going to address those?
The ADA challenges we're doing right now, we do a preliminary report. We're sending them to the architect for him to correct the problem, and then send it to the contractor so he can price it out.
You're going to need an elevator, aren't you?
Sorry.
Is the fix going to be in the cost of an elevator, or?
No,
you can't have those stairs winding as they are.
It's the rail, Judge, and I do apologize, I should have been more clear. The ADA issue that you see before you there on that picture is identifying that the railing is not in compliance to ADA.
What about the cracks on the foundation? What does that mean?
When we identify issues like that, we bring it to the contractor's attention, and we've identified other issues, and the contractor within 1 week's period has addressed the issues.
Any questions?
It was on the second floor, right? Those cracks?
Yes.
It was a self-leveling, Commissioner. The self-leveling, obviously, in the past presentations we had, we brought to you that the concrete, when the two buildings joined together, there was actually 2 to 3 buildings coming together. When they came together, there were voids. So what we did with the self-leveling, we tried to apply that homogeneous product in place so that when we come back with the tile, we don't have problems with tiles cracking. So our job is to identify that is an item is not acceptable to the owner. We bring it up, address it to the contractor, and the contractor, with 1 week's time, he comes back and resurfaces the area to avoid cracking of tile.
Thank you, sir. Next item, 7C.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Commissioners, is Dr. Saldana in the? Oh, okay, then it'll be Barbara, Ms. Storrs. This is for the AgriLife Extension Service, and so this is an appointment, so I'll let Ms. Storrs take it from here.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be Dr. Saldana for a few minutes. I'm really happy to tell you that Andrea Valdez is qualified to take Adelita's place as far as her educational background. She has her master's in public health. She's been with us for just about a year now, and we would like to transfer her from Family Resources to the Family and Consumer Science Agent position. With your approval.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Valdez, do you have anything to say, or?
She's already working on grants. She's
All
going to
right.
be visiting every one of you soon.
Okay.
Yes, so my position in Family Resources focused a little bit more on financial education, and now moving to Family and Consumer Sciences, I'll be focusing more on the health and wellness initiatives, and Adelita will stay on as a emeritus volunteer to also do some programming with us as well.
Excellent.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, next item,
Item D.
7D.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Item D, I'm asking the court to accept the settlement check from State Farm Insurance Company in the amount of $939.64, and this will settle an auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, Judge Commissioners, I'm asking the court to consider action to allow for partial occupancy of the Hidalgo County Forensic Center, which is our county morgue. It's located at 3100 South Klausner here in Edinburgh. Our fire inspection has been completed and approved. And Marty?
Just so that it would be subject to the pulling of the electrical permit. So I do recommend that we proceed.
Okay.
But that's being done as we speak.
Okay.
Move for
Move for
approval.
approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Are
Item
they
F.
still working on it, Marty? Is that why it's only partial?
Yes, they're finishing up some things that still need to be addressed.
Okay.
But they want to start moving in physical things. But we can't move in until that permit, at least they couldn't find one at the city. And if they can't, it's being pulled today anyway. All
Thank
right.
you.
Item F, Judge Commissioners, I'm asking the court to discuss and consider the court meetings scheduled for the balance of this year. As of late, Judge Commissioners, I know that we have had some situations where we've had some scheduling conflicts. There's a lot going on during the summer as well as at the end of the year, and I know that many of the commissioners are doing their hours as under the statute. And so what I'm asking the court is to consider a schedule that would allow the court to have one court every other week. So we would have, as we've done in the past, as late past, one on, one off, one on, one off. Obviously, the caveat is that on an off week, if there is a need as a result of some pending emergency or some issue that must be addressed, as long as we comply with the 72-hour notice, we can call the meeting and allow everyone to know about that meeting. But again, I am asking the court to consider for the balance of the year if the court would be in agreement to a one-on, one-off.
How does that affect our vendors for payments and?
There is an action item, G, that is related that would allow the auditor to continue with those vendor payments. I will add that on the off, the County of Hidalgo would be realizing a savings with respect to the non-use of our current facilities, and therefore we wouldn't pay. So there is a dollar savings with the on the off days or the off weeks for Commissioners Court.
I think if our payments are on schedule and everything, that everything works out.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it.
And like I said, item G addresses that to allow the auditor's office at their discretion.
And if we have a need to meet more often during the budget process?
Exactly, exactly. But and so the question is, when do we start? I was going to recommend that the first off week would be the first week in August. That'll give us the next 3 sessions to work with the departments so that they understand that they need to plan ahead, working with our commissioners and our county judge and the other offices. They need to plan ahead with respect to action items that they're going to need during those weeks. And then we can also inform the general public about the one-on, one-off schedule. So if the court is in agreement, we could start. Our first off would be the week of the August 4th. And then the following week would be on, next week would be off, so forth and so on.
How many weeks?
Until
For
the
the
end
remainder of the year?
For the remainder of the year, again, if there is,
Yeah, but Isabel, we need to.
oh yes, if we
call
need
a
to, we
meeting
can
for
call
budget.
meetings, yes, we can always call the meetings.
Is that your
Again,
recommendation, Valde?
I'm sorry?
Is that your recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, Judge Commissioners, then with that being said and that action being taken, then I'm asking approval to process payments after review and audit procedures are completed by the county auditor. Checks would be issued, would be included in the next check register of the next available meeting. In essence, on the off weeks, the auditor's office would still continue to process, and then they would bring, as we did with the December schedule, Linda, same action. And that would be through the end of the year, and then if it all works out, then we can revisit this issue for 2015.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item H is discussion and action on the second revision to the exiting elected officials expenditure policy. Judge Commissioners, I have brought this before the court. We amended the policy specific to the precincts because of the type of work that they do and the projects that are at hand. Unfortunately, as of late, the recommendation that I had from the past was 7,500. That was increased. I believe it was from 500 to 7,500. That is not working out. We have had some hiccups. I know that Precinct 2 has 3 current projects. Their smallest project on any given week had an expenditure of over $21,000. And so I should have taken that into consideration with respect to the type of work, road maintenance that's at the precincts. I'm asking the court, and I'm recommending to the court, that we amend the expenditure policy for exiting elected officials, specifically to the precincts, in an amount not to exceed $20,000 for operations.
25.
25.
25, Commissioner? Okay. I believe it would be well justified. Again, your smallest project right now, last week had an expenditure of 21,000 and change, and that was a small project. So, yes,
So we're
ma'am.
talking about on the policy 3.11 only that we're revising from 7,500 to 25,000?
Yes, for the precinct, yes.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, and so for the record, again, that was 25,000. Judge Commissioners, item I, I'm asking authority for the county judge to sign revised redemption deed regarding cause number T-1569-10-A. This was previously approved by Commissioners Court on October 29th of 2013. The revision is to reflect the finalized transaction that was taken this year in 2014. Although there is authority and action taken by the court, I thought it'd be prudent to bring it back to court to reflect the revised redemption deed agreement to reflect 2014.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Item 8, our constables.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
I'm here on item 8A. With me, I have Mr. Rick Gonzalez, who's in charge of the Mental Health Officer Program at MHMR. Item 8A1, discussion, consideration, and approval to enter into an interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County and Tropical Texas Behavioral Health, TTBH, for participation in the Mental Health Officer Program.
Move for approval.
Second.
Are we approving one only, or are you covering all of them?
Yeah, item 8A2, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the interlocal agreement, terms and conditions.
Hold on, we didn't vote on it, on one. Those in favor of the motion and second as to item 8A1 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8.2, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the interlocal agreement, terms and conditions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3, authorization for county judge as authorized official to sign interlocal agreement award and related document.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 4, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye, motion carries.
last item, item 5, is approval to create the following positions, position 1 and 2, position titles Deputy Constable Step 1 at a salary of $39,140.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, we need
This is only going to be a contract between your department and MHMR?
Currently, right now, it's just the Precinct 2 Constable's Office and MHMR. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rick, Precinct 1 is also wanting to.
And this is where you receive a call, you got these two officers that are going to go pick them up?
Correct.
And I guess take them all the way through San Antonio, as we've been talking about?
It depends what the call is. Currently, there's a team that's been, it's been in effect since October. They've been slowly getting different departments on board, and what they're going to be handling is all the mental health crisis calls for individuals that are in mental health crisis, basically. And they'll either be working, taking them to MHMR here locally or to San Antonio.
All right, sir.
Judge, we
Thank
still
you.
needed action on items 6 and 7, so move for approval of 6 and 7, 8A, 6, and 7.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 9, our human resources.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm going to go ahead and present this for the HR Department. It's DA investigation, HB 65, and the state supplement funds. Discussion and consideration and approval to extend the following 5 temporary part-time positions as of 7/1/2014 through 12/30/2014.
Move for approval.
There's
1, 2, and 3.
all 5 of the ones that are listed.
Yes, sir.
And does the motion include 2 and 3?
Right.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item number 10A, it's the approval to apply for the FY 2014-2015 Border Prosecution Unit grant. There is no catch match required, and it's funding for 2 assistant DA positions.
For approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 10B is requesting approval to reimburse Mr. Rene Guerra, the DA, in the amount of $1,769.93 in accordance with exiting officials' policy for hotel expenses incurred by assistant DAs that attended the 2014 White Collar Crime Seminar.
For approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item A, 11A.
Morning, Judge. Mike Escanimer from the Health Department. Mr. Olivares wasn't able to attend this morning, so he asked me to present the following agenda items from the Health Department. Agenda item AI 45052, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the University of Texas Pan American. The purpose of the agreement is public health preparedness and response, and this is related to the Operation Lone Star event that's happening on August 4th through August 8th.
Move for approval? Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
On item number 45060, requesting approval to renew a period for 1 year the memorandum of agreement with the Texas A&M University Health System Science Center for an on-site education program.
Approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 45095, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and RGV Careers. The purpose of the agreement is public health preparedness and response. It's also related to Operation Lone Star.
Move for approval?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Agenda item 45096, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and Valley Grant Institute. The purpose of the agreement is public health preparedness and response, also related to Operation Lone Star.
For approval?
Second. Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And agenda item 45280, requesting approval of the certification of revenue by county auditor in the amount of $135,837.65. Funds are from the Health and Human Services Commission Medicaid Administrative Claiming Reimbursement.
Move for approval?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
And number 2, requesting approval to appropriate the MAC budget in the amount of $135,837.65.
Move for approval?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
There's no action on item F and no action on item G, sir. Thank you.
Judge, before we leave that item, can we go back to 11D as in dog?
All right, sir.
It was approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and Valley Grande Institute. My question is Valley Grande Institute a governmental entity?
Probably a non-profit, no?
Yeah. Valley, what number is that, Steve?
It's 11D as in dog.
Did you get the question?
The question is Valley Grande Institute a governmental entity?
I don't have the response to that, sir. I could get that for you later on.
Well, because if it's not a governmental entity, it cannot be an interlocal cooperative agreement.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
You have to have a governmental entity to be, all the parties to interlocal have to be a governmental entity.
I believe it's a nonprofit. It's
Saying all the parties to
Steve.
interlocal.
The backup says that it's a memorandum of understanding.
Well, on the agenda, it's titled interlocal cooperation agreement, so that would be an improper motion.
Can we correct the
Can't
item?
We can't,
Clarify
we
the-
should put on for, take no action on 11D, rescind action on 11D. Rescind action on 11D, and then put it back on the agenda next time.
Yeah. Move for approval to rescind action for 11D.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Steve. If you look at 11A, I'm not sure if UT Pan Am exists, and you might look at the agreement, but now it might have to be UT RGB instead of Pan Am.
I just don't know the effective date of when they changed their name.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Or
Go
Judge,
ahead.
I think most of these are actually memorandum of understandings.
If they
Actually-
are, then we need to rescind all
The
all of
one-
them.
The one, oh, let's see.
Memorandum of, 11B has memorandum of agreement.
11B is correct. Assuming that's it.
So you need motion to rescind 11A and 11C?
11A and 11C, also RGV Careers. I don't think it's a governmental entity.
We've already done D, so move to rescind action on 11A and C.
Second?
I'm sorry, 11A, it does have interlocal.
A is okay.
A's okay? Okay.
So only C.
Let's go ahead and,
Move to rescind item 11C.
second?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
So C and D would need to be brought back with a proper agenda item.
All right, sir, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Here on item 12A is authorization approval to change the username on the wireless device. It's just pretty much a name change. It's an admin procedure that we have for billing purposes. As noted on the grid for 12A, motion to approve.
Move for approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
12B is we are requesting to change actually the service plan on the wireless devices listed below. These are better plans and more economical, more bang for the buck for the county on the 3 items listed on the table below.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And finally, 12C is authorization to purchase and activate new wireless service. It's 2 data cards for the IT department as listed on the grid below. Funding's in place.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good morning, Commissioners. Thank you.
Urban County, 13.
Okay, first item on the agenda, Judge, is resolution authorizing the renewal of a revolving line of credit with Lone Star National Bank for the Urban County program, with the authority for Urban County to draw from such line of credit.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B is a consideration and approval of cooperation agreements with the following participating cities. This would be Alamo, Alton, Donna, Ed, Couch, Elsa, Granjeno, Hidalgo, La Joya, La Villa, Mercedes, Palmhurst, Palmview, Penitos, Progreso Lake, San Juan, Sullivan City, and Westlaco. And this is a requirement that's necessary for the requalification of the Hidalgo County as an urban county.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is on behalf of the Urban County Program for Precinct 3, requesting the approval of Amendment Number 1 to the existing contract agreement of land surveying for CVQ land surveying under the General Land Office contract, and this is for an increase of $16,800.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D is on behalf of Precinct 2, requesting approval of Amendment Number 1 to the existing material testing services contract with Robert Kistner Consultants. The amendment will add geotechnical testing services to the General Land Office contract, and the increase in the professional service contract will be an increase of $11,757.25.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item E is requesting the approval to declare and dispose of assets listed in Exhibit A as surplus and to clear our inventory list.
Move approval? Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 15, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget and Management. Item 15A, 1, and 2 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds in the amount of $48,000 for various operating expenditures related to the scofflaw program.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 15A, 2, A and B is approval of certification of revenues certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds in the amount of $13,741.82, and this is to purchase a used vehicle for the sheriff's office.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Item 16, purchasing.
Good morning, Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department. Going on to item A1. Oh, this is under executive. You want to do that one?
No, go ahead.
Okay. This is requesting authority to advertise and approval of specifications as attached here too for Hidalgo County service and maintenance to county power generators, including the authority to re-advertise in the event we get no bids.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item B1, acceptance and approval of a request for release of A, payment application 12, retainage $40,006.41. And item B, payment application 13, final $27,973.13 through the PO listed. And this is subject to the vendor submitting a revised pay application 13 to eliminate the recorded retainage amount within.
This is for Constable, right?
Yes,
Precinct one,
this is to
Constable.
Holtermont for the new constable building.
It's going to be complete.
I hope so.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Item C1, this is approval of the following requisitions listed for operating expenditures exceeding 7,500. You see all requisitions 315, 317, 404, 591, and 593.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
On item C2, consideration and approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between Hidalgo County and Drainage District Number 1 concerning the sale of LJ Pond's real property to Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, there is no action to be taken at this time. Item 3, requesting authority to advertise with approval of the plans and specifications developed by the project engineer, Raul Cecin, Hidalgo County Planning Department, for Roadrunner subdivision paving and drainage improvements.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
On item D, acceptance and approval of the final negotiated consulting services contract with CBRE Incorporated. Let me advise the court that the contract you have before you has a tiered commission fee of 6%, 5%, and 4%. I got a call yesterday from the judge. He wanted us to attempt to reach out to the company. We had tried to negotiate better fees. Those fees had been discussed with the grading committee at one point. I did receive an email yesterday after I reached out to the company. They do want us to be cognizant that a lot of these properties, the ones listed in the initial proposal, of which we will add or delete, are going to prove to be challenging. That is the reason for their submitted fees. Now, they did agree to reach out to us and talk about it again. I don't know if the court wishes to take no action and attempt one more time to try and better those fees. I wanted direction from the court before we proceed. I believe
Marty, have you
one of the
made
things-
do you believe you have made an effort that, a reasonable effort?
in this respect, yes, Judge. I think we made an effort because as they bring out to us, a lot of the properties listed are going to be challenging to try to unload.
So they'll average out then.
I believe so. Now, you also have to take into account that I think this company did its homework. Now, it also is, we had a lot of companies request packets. Only 2 submitted. Of the 2, 1 didn't qualify. I think this company's done its homework. I think it knows the area. I think it knows the challenges that are going to be faced in trying to sell this.
Thank you.
So if the court wishes to proceed, I ask for approval.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries. It is 11:11. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.